I'll be the first to admit it, that the Charlotte Hornets look different. All right, Steve Clifford, in tenure 2 of being the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, has this team, last year, let's just say it was a washed year. PJ Washington went off. And again, guys, this is preseason. I was getting an argument with my roommate. I was like, the preseason holds no bearings on what the regular season is going to have in store. But what I think we're seeing is that Mark Williams and Nick Richards will be, splitting / battling between who's going to be the starting center. I think Mark will be, but like Nick Richards will be playing like 20 minutes a night. Maybe Mark will play like 28. And JT Thor looks pretty solid, like as this like shot blocking forward, while who can also provide some 3-point shooting. PJ Washington looks like all around like one of the more solid players. Of course, there's LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Brandon Miller. He's there, number 2 overall. The athleticism and the ability seems to be there. It's all about harnessing it. And I just think as a whole, looking at this Charlotte Hornets team, they just seem fundamentally, the intangibles and the fundamentals are there. They are limited into turnovers. They're playing good. There's a lot of good perimeter defense. I wouldn't be surprised if this team's a lot better than people want to give them credit for, because again, this is a team that I was watching them and I was like, wow, they don't look like they're making the mistakes that they were last year. They're not making the boneheaded plays. They're playing solid defense. And that's solid defense. Because what is the best offense? Defense. They say that. And I really like the way that they're carrying themselves. And I think that's what Steve Clifford has spent the last 18 months, instilling. Since he took the job, I think he's been just teaching these guys, look, we need to play the game the right way. And I like that they have, Dennis Smith Jr.'s replacement being Frank Ntilikina, which, as you guys know, Dennis Smith Jr. went to the Brooklyn Nets, and they brought in Frank Ntilikina. So they got Dennis Smith Jr., who was a really good perimeter defender last year. They've replaced him with another really good perimeter defender, Frank Ntilikina. Even, a guy that didn't look too bad or too shabby was my man, Mr. Little Edmund Summer. Okay, he wasn't bad at all. He dropped 5 points. He kept around. He was there. And for me, though, JT Thor, who had 4 points, he was out there. He again looks like he could maybe be someone who could help this team out. But LaMelo, of course, had 16, 6, and 6. LaMelo looks like himself. I'm not worried at all about LaMelo or what he's going to be this season. Terry Rozier dropped 19. There was a little bit of RJ Hunter. I know RJ Hunter, Nathan Mensah are expected to be on the G League team. Don't expect them to be on the actual roster. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. What's the injury Gordon Hayward's dealing with, first off? Can someone tell me that down below? I just think this team's going to be a lot more fundamentally sound. We didn't see any Miles Bridges, and we all know what's going on with the Miles Bridges situation. So there's that, and whatever happens there happens. I don't know what is going to be, but it makes me wonder that, like, if you're a Hornets fan, what do you think's the biggest thing that needs to be addressed with this squad for them to have success the way that they hope to have success this season? I think definitely when you look at this team, they're a team that, I personally think could be, easily a play-in team. And I think if they aren't a play-in team, it's somewhat of a disappointment because they have that much talent. Their starting lineup literally could be LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams, which is like humongous in athleticism. Like, that's basically 6'7" and above, baby, just as your starting lineup. So for me, I think that's a really good team that has a lot of potential to be good and to do things that I think a lot of people would discredit them from being able to do. So I don't know. I definitely think the thought of the Hornets having success this season is definitely up to the eye of the beholder and what you believe is going to be achievable for this franchise. I think, again, from the size and length that they have, I think they can be a really good perimeter defensive team that is also really good rebounding. slash, shot blocking team because they have Nick Richards and Mark Williams. Yes, they don't have many power forwards. I think JT Thor might be, and PJ Washington are like kind of their only power forwards. But I still think that this team is talented. I think their weakest thing is consistent three-point shooting. Like, if we look at this roster, their weakness, just on paper, is a consistent three-point threat. Like, which, honestly, if that's your biggest weakness, I think that's, like, a really, really, really solid, like, one thing to figure out. So, for me, that's basically going to be my thoughts. I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching. It does mean the world that you watched. So, goodbye. And cheers, because I'm done. That's the video. Bye-bye, everybody.